everybody, my name is Cybermanalf and welcome to my review of Doctor Who Series 12, Episode 6, Praxeus. Now, I'm just going to get on with this. This might be a shorter review than usual, because I don't really have that much to say about this episode. Because, overall, yeah, it was a decent episode, it was a good episode, but that's just the problem, it was just decent. There were no really standout moments for me, apart from the beginning was incredible. It started off really well with all the mystery, but as we started to find out what was going on, it just went downhill for me, and I really just felt nothing about the episode. The whole way through it just felt nothing. That being said, there are some good moments in it, and there are some not so good moments in it. So I liked quite a lot of the characters in this story. I especially liked Gabriella. I didn't really care for the astronaut that much, but the other one was quite good. I feel like the companions had quite a lot to do in this episode as well. I think that's definitely a positive highlight for them, because usually they don't have much to do, but in this episode they had loads and loads to do. So that was really good writing there. Something I don't understand is why Chris Chibnall really needed to be involved in this episode. I mean, there wasn't that much in terms of story arc. Apparently there's rumours that Pete McTeague wanted Sea Devils in it and Chris Chibnall wrote them out, which I really hope isn't true. But the main plot itself, I think that's one of my biggest problems with this episode, is the plot itself was just weak. It's an alien virus brought here by some aliens, and they just find a cure for it, and it takes them 50 minutes. That being said, I also really like the way they hop between different countries on the Earth, and as people point out, there's something that they are missing here, which is they could do it, they're popping between different planets, because it is Doctor Who. Overall, there wasn't really a villain in this, and the main plot was just slightly weak for me, which kind of brought it down a bit. I love the visuals, as the visuals in the 13th Doctor's era have been. All the visuals in this were incredible, and it really adds to the cinematic feel of this episode. I didn't mind the second sort of climate change message we had. This one's a lot more subtle, rather than Orphan 55 literally just like laying it out for you. So I think this is probably better than Orphan 55. Something else I really liked in this episode was the fact that the Doctor was being doctory this episode, and she was working things out, and I think she had really good chemistry with the characters. I think especially Brian and Gabriella had a lot of great chemistry, which really helped to develop her character and make me care about her. She's probably the character I cared about the most. I didn't care for many of the other characters in this story, though. So, now I'm going to talk about the stuff I didn't like so much. So, as I said, this episode was really good. Probably 9 out of 10, maybe even a 10. Up until we started getting answers. That one scene where Suki revealed herself to be evil, teleported away, the entire story just flopped from that point onwards. Like, the build-up was really good, the mystery was, wow. I was really into this, and then as soon as we found out that she was evil, this episode just went downhill. And nothing much happened that I really liked. I quite like the way they cured everyone at Praxeus, but as a lot of times in films and TV, the mystery is really good, and then the answers just bring this episode down a lot. We started to find out that Suki was on her planet, she brought the virus here, but this was just a load of exposition in the episode, and it would have been better to have seen this more visually. And as with a lot of 13th Doctor episodes, she goes in there, she suddenly works something out, and then she's just pointing in a room, just giving out a load of exposition. We don't actually see any of this visually, which I really would have liked to have seen visually what happened on her planet, maybe seen the effects of it on her planet. I know we did see the teeth things, but it would have been great to have seen a bit of her planet and find out why it happened. And I think that's my one major problem with this episode, is it's really good, but we suddenly start finding out what's going on, and everything just doesn't work at all for me at this point. And this is why it's a short review, because that is my one biggest problem with it. And that is the thing that stuck in my head. There wasn't really much else in this that happened that I was like, well, that's a great moment. There weren't really any standout moments for me. It was all just sort of normal, average Doctor Who. However, that being said, I did really like the beginning. I loved the mystery. So I think this one deserves a 7 out of 10, the same as Orphan 55. I think it's probably slightly better, seeing as the build-up was really good. I think the score would have been lower if it had just been we found out what was going on straight away, but we didn't, and I really like the element of mystery in this episode. But it did start to go downhill when we found out what was going on. And that's my thoughts on Praxeus. Tell me what you think down in the comment section below. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Or did you just think it was okay like I did? On another note, this week's episode looks incredible. With like, can you hear me? The fears thing. It just looks great. So I'm really looking forward to this week's episode. Then we got Cybermen sometime and a 2-part finale. So I'm really looking forward to the rest of the series. I think this one is probably like, this and Orphan 55 are definitely the worst of the series, as this series has been really strong. But in any other series, these would probably be like just mixed around. Maybe not in like series 5, 4 or 10, but series like 7 or 6, these would just be normal episodes. Anyway, that's my thoughts. I've been Cybermanalf, but from me for now, it's goodbye.